Okay, so I started a live about regression, but I guess it didn't work, so we're gonna try again. Okay, so we're gonna just jump into it. What is regression therapy? So in order to understand regression therapy, I feel like we have to have the foundation of what is therapy and how does therapy work? Because I know it's like a word that we toss around, but if you don't really know the intended purpose of regression therapy or of therapy in general, then regression therapy is just gonna be another thing where you're like, what? So, what is therapy? Therapy is the process in which we unpack our past, right, to make sense of it in order to move on from it. So sometimes simple therapy is just, therapy can be sitting down and talking with a friend. It does not have to be a medical professional. Therapy can be anything can be therapeutic. Therapy can be art so that we can make sense of our trauma from expressing art and coloring something. Therapy can be meditation. Therapy can be all sorts of different things. So just because you do therapy doesn't mean that you are sick or, super suicidal or anything crazy like that, PTSD driven, bipolar, etc. Doesn't mean that. It just means that you are a person who takes care of their mental health and you go to therapy or you use therapeutic techniques in order to make sense of your past and heal your experiences so that you can experience a more healthy lifestyle, right? So if you are doing regression therapy, it is the same process. It's the same technique. It is unpacking your past so that you can make sense of it, so that you can heal and move from it and move forward in life, so that your past is no longer holding you back or haunting you or however you want to say that. You do not have to be a certified therapist in order to do regression therapy. It is helpful, I will say, to get a certified therapist in order to do regression therapy, but it is not necessary. And I have a couple of questions. One of my questions that somebody said was, can I do regression therapy on myself? Can it be done by yourself, or do I have to hire somebody to do it? And the quick answer to that one is no. Like, you actually don't need a certified therapist to do regression therapy. You don't even need somebody present to do regression therapy. You can do it by yourself. So that's really helpful. I was grateful for that question because I didn't think about that. How do you do it by yourself? You can just imagine a shape and color, and I can walk everybody through that process a little bit later. But the way we do regression therapy is all dependent on which technique you use, okay? I'm gonna go find that post. Okay, what is your questions on regression therapy? I'm gonna bring it up, all these questions, so that I make sure I don't miss any. Do you have to have someone helping you? No, you can do it on yourself. I've heard that when it's not done properly, it can increase anxiety as well as a fixation on the trauma. Is this true? My answer is this. Anything can either help you or harm you, right? Like, if you go to a Reiki practitioner and you are doing regression therapy with, or if you're doing Reiki, with a Reiki practitioner, that Reiki practitioner could have malice intent. That Reiki practitioner could re-traumatize you by bringing up past events. So there's always a risk in that. I would not say that one modality is, more inclined to re-traumatize you. It is a possibility if it is not done right, just like it's a possibility if you go to the wrong Reiki practitioner, okay? So my thought on this is, yes, it's possible. Like, it is possible to it is possible to have increased anxiety and fixation with Reiki, it is possible to have it with the remedy technique, as it is possible to do any kind of energy work, any kind of therapy, or any kind of healing technique. So the difference is, do they have the proper training? Without the proper training, heck yeah, you're going to experience more trauma. That's with anything, right? If a Reiki practitioner didn't have the proper training, heck yes, it would create more anxiety and fixation on the trauma. Never heard of this. Is this inner child work? I would call it inner child work. You could call it inner child work. Here's a couple other names for it. There's a couple different techniques. It's called IPT, Regression therapy, I should back up. Regression therapy is an umbrella term for unpacking your trauma, your childhood trauma, and understanding, healing, and comprehending it, okay, so that you can move forward. So RTT is, I'm going to look up the acronym for this. RTT. I want to make sure I got that. Rapid Transformational Therapy. It's done by Marissa Peer. It is a form of hypnotherapy / regression therapy. I've actually used this one. I really like this one. If you're more of a talker rather than a visualizer, this will really help you. But it is hypnosis, so if you're not into hypnosis, it might not be beneficial for you. Another one is called IPT, Integrative Processing Technique. They teach this at the Institute of Healing Arts and a couple of other places. That is also called regression therapy. And it is a very helpful tool. There's another question that somebody asked me a little bit ago, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, man. Okay, so we'll just move on, and I'll see if I can come back to it. How does it work? Okay, it works by unpacking your past, making sense of it, and comprehending it. There are so many different modalities and different ways to do this. There's, like I said, ITT, IPT, I know the remedy technique is one of them, the one that I do. Oh man, there's so many. I don't want to go through a whole list, but yes, there are plenty of different ways to do regression therapy, and how it works is you unpack your past, make sense of it, pack it all back up, you can move forward in life. Who is it for and who is it not for? Okay, pay very close attention to this, okay? I believe that in order for someone to be ready to do regression therapy, they have to be humble first, okay? They have to be willing to feel things that were painful, admit things to themselves that they don't want to admit to themselves, and go places that they might not be ready to go. In short, you have to be ready to heal. Regression therapy is not for the faint of heart. It's not for somebody who is not invested, and it's not for somebody who is not ready to go deep. I would say that regression therapy, RT is what I call it. Regression therapy is honestly one of the most deepest forms of energy healing or of therapy out there. And in order for it to be really effective and not re-traumatize you, another point that I have to make, in order for it to not be harmful, you need to be ready to see and experience your pain. So yes, the proper training is important, because the proper training will allow somebody to go, ugh, you're not ready for regression therapy, and so I'm not going to do that on you. I have actually turned people away from doing regression therapy, and I end up saying, before every session, like, they can schedule a regression therapy session with me, but that does not mean they're always going to get a regression therapy session with me. That means that they might get the remedy technique from me, or a Reiki session, or some other form of energy healing, because I can tell, and a real trained artist can tell, when somebody is ready to do regression therapy. It is a deep, 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 deep healing modality. It's very transformational, and you have to be ready. Like, you have to be humble. You have to be at that place where you're just ready to see yourself, and you're ready to see your pain. And it works best for people who have a goal in mind. So right now I have a goal of wanting to get pregnant really badly, because I've struggled with infertility in the past. It took me 2 years to even conceive Sophia. With recent events of miscarriage, like, I want a baby more than I want anything in the whole entire world right now. And I'm desperate for pregnancy. And so because I'm desperate for it, because I want it more than anything in the whole entire world, I am now open and ready and willing to receive regression therapy. I will let you know that it has been probably close to 2 years since I've done regression therapy, because I've not been in the place for it. So when you want something bad enough, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And regression therapy is one of those tools that actually help you heal. It is one of those tools, and I will be careful saying this because I can't promise healing, but it is one of the only tools that I have noticed actually heals deeply on a very, very deep level. So if you're ready to do regression therapy, great. Just make sure you find a good regression therapist. Make sure they are going deep. Make sure that it's a prayerful decision. Make sure that it was, you know who you're working with, because yes, you can get screwed over pretty badly if you don't go to the right person. There are many times when I notice that I personally am not deep enough for somebody's wants and needs. Like if I'm dealing with some really hard trauma, I actually refer people to other people, because I will not disrespect people if I know I cannot help you. So who is it for and who is it not for? It's for the people who are ready to go deep. If you are one of those people who don't want to see your past, if you're one of those people who want to fight about everything that a therapist may recommend, or an energy worker, if you're one of those people who believe you know best, which you very much so might, you probably are not a good candidate for regression therapy. You really need to go at it with a humble mind, with the willingness to do whatever it takes to feel better. So, yeah, you have to definitely put your ego aside to do regression therapy. That is who it's not for. It's for people who have a bigger ego than people who are like, the thought comes to my mind, it's always the addict who is like, I've got this, I can quit anytime I want. Well, don't go to regression therapy if you're one of those people. So that's another one. Okay, so how do I personally do regression therapy? I do it through hypnotic state, because I believe that the best way to access your traumas is through relaxed mindset. Because when you're relaxed, your body's not in fight or flight, right? It's the opposite. So the way I do regression therapy is you come over to my house. I don't do them over phone, because it's too hard. Well, I can do them over a phone call, but I won't do them over texting. So you have to message me if you want that. You come over, and I'm looking at my massage table. You lay on the massage table. We get you in a really calm, relaxed state. We put some essential oils on, usually start with a couple muscle testing questions. Go pretty. We get you pretty calm, and then we start an imagination imagery thing. And we're going to start to take concepts of your brain, traumas in your past, emotions, and we're going to give them shapes and colors. And you'd be surprised how powerful it is and how quickly it works and how effective it is. But that's how I do it. I do it through a hypnotic state. You get really relaxed. It feels very spa-like, very pampering. And then by the end, you may or may not walk out of my office crying relieved because you've had revelation, or because, things magically worked out for you. I don't know. Some people walk out of my office and they're like, I don't feel anything. And then they text me a couple days later and they say they feel something. Some people I never see again because I brought up their past. So it really depends. Everybody's different. This is honestly one of the deepest forms of energy work I've ever done, and that I believe anybody can ever do. So be cautious when you go about doing this. It is powerful. It works. But you have to come at it with the right mindset, or it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Your body and your brain will go into sabotage mode, and you'll discredit everything. So there's my 2 cents. That's regression therapy. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And I would be willing to, I'm thinking I will probably do a slideshow presentation about what regression therapy is and healing and age as a group therapy a little later. If that is something that you are interested in, please let me know. It will be over probably Zoom again, and it's by donation. So if that is something you're interested, please let me know. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.